When you have your initial consultation with a small business, what are the three most popular questions, or what are the three questions that you will ask them when they say, "Hey, Misty, I want to start a business"?
All right. So I first ask them, are they planning to start an LLC? I don't like when they start with just as sole proprietors. It's so inexpensive now to start an LLC that's my first question and always my biggest recommendation. My next question is whether or not they're going to have employees, because then I want to make sure that we hook them up with a proper payroll company. And then one of my third questions is, where are they going to be banking? Because believe it or not, where they bank makes a huge difference in the success of their company.
So what type of bank is a good situation then for a company?
Well, I mean, I hate to, I don't want to
all right, so like a local business, a big business, like
the answer is it's a mix. So, you have to be, that's why you need to work with your CPAs who are used to working with banks and get that recommendation. For example, I have a favorite one right now in the area. It's not a local bank, but it's not a huge bank, but it treats my clients really, really well. Now, if they ever stop that, they stop being my favorite one. And then there are big banks that I don't like. And then there are big banks that work really, really well. So we tend to stay away from things like credit unions. They generally don't have the teeth that they need to be proper business banks. So generally regular banks, not credit unions, are pretty much our rule of thumb.
And we're looking at this strictly from a business perspective, not from a personal banking perspective.
Correct. There are some banks out there and credit unions. They are great for personal banking. They're just not good for business banking.
Got it. I think something that's interesting that most people who are really in that early stage of like, hey, I just watched Shark Tank, I think I want to start a business, I think I have a great idea. I think a lot of people are misunderstanding what really goes into starting a business. And so not only from a white collar service provider like yourself of those things and having those conversations, but really understanding, hey, from a marketing perspective, I actually have to market this, right? It's not Kevin Costner. It's not I build it and they will come. This doesn't just happen. There isn't free money available, right? It doesn't matter what you do. There is no free money available. And the only time I've ever seen anything remotely close to that was this last year with COVID. And it was directly tied to revenue or expenses that you had already had basically from an employee. So it wasn't like it was really free money anyway. It was tied to something that you were already paid for. And so I don't know where those kind of numbers come out of people where they think that like, oh, the government, the world wants you to just start a business and they're going to fund it for you. But you have to market your business. And I think what you were saying kind of from an expenses standpoint is like, do you even have an inclination of what type of expenses you're going to have? Because I mean, even website software could be several hundred to several $1,000s a year, and people weren't even thinking about something like that. And so by booking, 30, 45, 60 minutes with you to just have those kind of questions available, I think is incredibly important for anyone starting or even growing a business at that point, or trying to stay alive in business, because it's like you have to look at these things on a pretty regular basis to make sure that things are good. So